Hello, and welcome to rewatching and first time watching Twin Peaks with Mackenzie Bradford and Wade Bradford. We are going through, I don't know the name of the episode because I don't pay attention, but we are going through them today.
That's right. We are
Was
going
that a pretty
through
good
them.
intro?
Good job. Good job. I asked Mackenzie, I'm like, hey, you do the introduction.
You do the intro.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yes. So, hey, I'm Wade Bradford. This is my daughter, Mackenzie.
Hello.
Mackenzie's watching Twin Peaks for the first time. I've seen it a couple times.
Yeah.
And we are now into season 2.
Season 2, episode 2.
Episode 2. And we're going to talk about episode 2, Coma. And in theory, I think that we're going to merge it with episode 3, which we also watched.
Yes.
So we'll probably be giving away spoilers for season 2, episode 2 and 3.
And
there you go.
If it's your first time watching it and you're like, oh, I don't care about spoilers. No, you should care about spoilers. That's why I'm not looking at the comments.
That's right.
And I'm not going to reveal anything to myself because I'm enjoying it. It's a ride. It's fun.
It is a ride. And so I'm going to show Mackenzie some images of the episodes that we've watched, and we're getting her response and her fresh perspective on it and whatever theories she develops. But of course, we want to know, according to Mackenzie, who killed Laura Palmer. So I'm interested to see that and any other mysteries that she might be able to unravel. Yeah. So without further ado, here's one of the first images that we see.
Oh, I love this.
From Twin Peaks episode 2, Coma. Now I was watching when I was watching this afternoon when we watched it. Yeah. It seems like the barbershop quartet back there, that they are sometimes smoking. Yeah, they're smoking, and they just also seem to be eating. They're not really singing, right?
They're not singing. They're just.
I hear some humming in this scene.
I feel that they are guests. I don't think they're performing.
Yeah.
They all have coffee.
Yeah.
And breakfast in front of them.
So they're standing like they're gonna sing.
I love that they're just like. It's honestly, it's kind of sets you up for this whole episode because the episode itself doesn't. Like, there's a lot that happens, but, like, nothing happens. You know? And
I believe this episode is one of the episodes directed by David Lynch.
Yeah.
He doesn't direct all of them, but the ones that he directs are quite marvelous. Yeah. In my not so humble opinion.
I liked it.
So yeah, we see that's the opening shot.
Oh, this was so
some
wonderful.
Other things. Now, some of these might not be in order, but I did my best to sort of gather them in some semblance of order. Yeah. So Donna has taken over Meals on Wheels, and tell us what happens and what's your interpretation of this scene.
This was really weird. Mm-hmm. So this is like the first time we can confirm. Well, not even confirm. I don't know what's happening here. This kind of messed with me a little bit.
Okay, what do you mean? You don't know what's happening?
So she takes in the food, and the woman's like, "I didn't order any cream corn, did I? Do you see cream corn there?" And I was like, "Fantastic, cream corn is there. That's wonderful. Maybe she's gonna have a thing. Yeah. I love cream corn. She should just eat the cream corn." And then she's like, "I didn't order any cream corn. I didn't order any." And then the little boy in the chair just is like, she didn't order any cream corn. And she's like, "Do you see any?" And she's like, "No, I don't." And the cream corn is gone. And now the little boy's holding the cream corn in his hands. And he just folds it and it's gone.
And what does the old lady say?
And he's been working on his magic. That's I guess he's just a really good magician. But that's a lot. Like, what? Yeah. I don't know, because the plate also looks like the way it's set up, the plate, it looks like it's supposed to have cream corn. And also
that area is missing. It's devoid of food.
There's no food there. Like if you weren't putting on cream corn, you'd just be like, food. Okay.
Well, in terms of so it's a weird scene.
Yeah.
But in terms of what it means for our overall story, the search for Laura Palmer, or at least the search for answers in general. Yeah. Is this a dead end? Is this a door opening? What is this?
Well, it honestly, like, seeing isn't everything is kind of what it showed me. I also like it because, again, no vegetables. Even like this is like
the cream corn
corn's like gone. It's like no more cream corn. It's like, what's up with everyone and vegetables? Like corn is hardly a vegetable.
If you're just joining us, Mackenzie has noticed that there's a surprising lack of vegetables.
There's a lot of food and there's no vegetables.
There's lots of food. We don't see vegetables very often. The hospital food was maybe
almost
vegetable, but it was more paste kind of stuff.
Yeah. And she talks about how she used to get used to get hospital food. She used to get hospital food.
The old lady says that she used to get hospital food.
I thought that was interesting that she mentioned it. It felt like something was it already felt like something was going on with the hospital food since it was only in one episode.
Do you think that something's going to come into play with that?
I feel like eventually, but I also feel like anything that people say and is like slightly interesting, could be like just completely misleading. Gotcha. It could just be a fact, like the log lady. Brilliant example. It's like, yeah, the log comes into play a little, but she's also just a lady with a log.
So I don't think I have a good photo of the log lady today from these episodes, but the log lady has a scene with Major Briggs.
This was cool. I'm getting to like Major Briggs a little more every episode.
Good, I'm glad.
I like him.
I like once he talks about his dream to Bobby.
Really sweet.
Then I like him quite a bit. So do you remember what the log lady, or what the log, I should say?
The log.
The log says what message to Major Briggs?
You need to give him the message.
Yeah, like deliver the message.
Deliver the message.
And so then we get this weird, supposedly,
Cooper.
According to Major Briggs, they're listing. Oh, look, there's 3 sixes there. Ooh, 666 is right above Cooper's name.
666.
And 36. Oh, I don't like numbers creeping out.
I know.
Okay.
Wait, there's no 2s there, and 2 has. Oh wait, there is a 2 there. I'm sorry. 2s have not shown up in David Lynch's
number of the day
in a very long time.
Yeah,
like it hasn't been.
Those 3 6s. You know me, I don't like The Omen.
Yeah. You're worried you're gonna find it on your head.
Oh man, childhood scary dreams from The Omen, the old movie. So
if I ever learn how
3
to tattoo,
6s above Dale's
I'm going to tattoo your scalp in your sleeve.
Oh, that's mean, but funny. Then I'll be like, I knew I was the Antichrist.
I know.
Anyway, sorry for that tangent, folks. But maybe there's something to do with these numbers. So so there's the transmission that says the owls are not what they seem.
Yeah.
It says Cooper, Cooper, Cooper a few times.
3 times.
At least 3 times, right?
It just says it 3 times. He shows us. It says Cooper, Cooper, Cooper 3 times, and then it goes back.
Yeah. So what's going on there?
So he says, he's like, I got something to tell you. We've been studying faraway galaxies, and I can't disclose what we're doing, but we're doing it. And here's what I'm going to disclose. And he's like, the owls are not what they seem. Cooper, Cooper, Cooper. And he's like, yep. He just kind of comes in and he's like, yeah.
Just so the log told me I should tell you that. So I did.
So I told you.
There you go.
I know. It was interesting. He was like, yeah, I should tell him after the log. Yeah. Like maybe he was thinking about it.
So things are like getting confirmed on Dale Cooper's interaction with the giant.
Yeah. And the log lady has already said like she doesn't trust the owls. The owls can't hear us in here. So I think the log knows something about the owls.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is not the best photo, but
oh my goodness,
Audrey has a great line here where she says, "I'm Audrey Horn, and I get what I want."
And I went, "Yes,
yeah,
yes, you are."
So Audrey's still One-Eyed Jacks, and
she's still,
and so she's hobnobbing with these. How should I say hobnobbing? She's dealing with the criminal elements of Blackie and. What's his name? Emery, the perfume counter, the guy who hired her to work the perfume counter. And then we're going to see the other guy in the later episode. Jean. So there's bad people around here. What connections, if any? Because she's really there to help Agent Cooper. Well,
she's trying.
She wanted to go and help and infiltrate.
And it's just
and find out more about Laura. So Emery has said, like, yeah, Laura was here.
Yeah.
Audrey confirms that her father runs the place. Yeah. And is asking questions about her father. Do you think is she digging up any information, or have you seen any information that's going to be helpful to, or maybe that adjusts your ideas about the case?
Well, honestly, it's made me like our friend. What's her name?
Audrey.
Audrey. Yeah. It's made me like Audrey a little more.
Okay.
I like Audrey a little more after this episode because she's a little more competent. Yeah. She's like, tell me what I want to know.
And she certainly puts herself in danger.
Yes. That's
she's going to be
great.
sort of like the tables turn, right? This guy's tied up at the beginning of this episode, but she's going to be tied up
by the end.
By the end.
I also love what he says and the fact that he wants the vacuum going. He's like, where's the vacuum? I found that intriguing. I don't know. Like the whole scene, that was really intriguing. He's like tied up.
Yeah.
And he's like,
he has like a very specific preference.
And he's like, my little Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah, it's like the ice is going to, it's like I brought the ice.
I thought she was just going to dump the whole thing of ice on him.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted that to happen. I don't know, it's interesting.
So he's
an interesting guy.
Kind of an amusing scumbag.
Yeah.
These two lovebirds.
They're dumb.
I'm going to eat you up. Yeah, so we have the scheme.
There's a lot of, like...
Dumb people?
No. Everybody's always talking about, like, eating. Like
in a predatory sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's more often than not, if there's, like, some kind of scene where there's a man and a woman, they're like, I'm gonna eat you up. Like, they're always saying, like, eating.
Okay. I remember this. I don't know. I'd have to go back to the transcripts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a lot. This show has a lot of making out and stuff like that.
Because the Aubrey's dad, Ben, is like, I'm gonna eat you up to like several people.
It does seem like a lot of the characters give off big bad wolf kind of vibes.
Yeah.
So
she does call herself Red later on.
That's right. She does call
herself Red. Actually, wait, no, she calls herself Red in the scene.
Are these two? So these guys are they're going to. Leo Johnson is in a. Oh, you wanted vegetables. Leo Johnson is in a vegetative state.
Our first real session.
So poor Leo Johnson.
So
except I hate him, so I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
Right. So he's in the hospital. And
I mean, I'd rather have him defending.
And I don't like giving things away for you, but you can tell bad things are going to happen with taking Leo from the hospital
and putting him in the house.
He's
like, we're gonna hang donuts from his ears.
And so the idea that they're going to get insurance money
from taking care of him, but not taking care of him because they're not thinking it through.
They're very young and foolish.
They're very dumb.
So you can tell that bad things. Or maybe wacky comical things, or a combination of both will be happening probably in the near future with these characters. But what I want to know is, aside from that, is there any, are we now, I feel like we're starting to think of, and I say we as in your point of view, watching this for the first time, that some of the characters are starting to sort of fall away from far away from being suspect list. So do Bobby and Shelley, do they have any role, you think? Any direct role?
In Laura.
In Laura.
No, I don't think so.
So we got the Horn brothers doing crazy things. They roast marshmallows, or at least they talk about roasting marshmallows.
And they don't hurt the pig that he's eating.
So
look at that deer.
I know, yeah.
He's yelling.
So what do you think? What's going on with Benjamin Horn as a potential suspect? Where does he stand with you right now?
Now, I don't know. These episodes were weird. These two episodes were weird to me because I honestly a little bit lost track of like, we need to figure out who killed Laura.
Because there's so many things going on now.
There's so many things going on.
So what about this guy, Harold? Harold is a new character that we meet. Tell us about Harold.
Okay, is Harold the one that goes... Okay, I'm terrible.
Mackenzie has a very difficult time recognizing all these white guys with dark hair. She's like not...
And also, all of the different women with the same brown hair color, even though some of them are wigs. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea.
Okay, so this guy was the guy with the orchids.
Yes. Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about the guy who... our friend at the front desk was seeing for 3 months. That guy. But this guy with the orchids, he is interesting. He's like doing his orchid thing. He might be an agoraphobe. My shoulder is now his shoulder. Yeah, he's interesting. He could be a suspect, or he could be projecting how much he knew Laura, if that makes sense. Like, Laura could have just been like a little small part. Like, he could have been like a tiny part of Laura's life.
Yeah, and he feels like he's more important.
That's because like he doesn't leave his house.
Gotcha.
Right, because it's like, oh yeah, because that's who I see. So that's what sticks out to him.
All right. So Donna has met him.
And he seems nice.
Interacted with him a couple times.
But he's
seems
a little sus near the end.
Well, there's things like the there was that envelope that she wanted to see, and we'll talk about what we find at the end of that.
We don't get to know what's in the envelope though.
Yeah. And then
Sad Boy James
and
Kisses. Maddie, who I thought was not her.
Yeah, you had a hard time recognizing, like, who's that? Is that Donna?
Who is that?
Yeah,
well, it's also low lighting.
So they are, So there's a couple scenes where in this episode they're singing that nice song together.
That was really weird.
Donna's making eye contact, but then Maddie makes eye contact.
Yeah.
Donna notices James and Maddie makes eye contact. James and Maddie hold hands to she's kind of comforting him. Yeah. Donna sees it. And then in this, the second episode that we're talking about today, that's when this scene happens, when they kiss.
Yes.
Any reactions to?
What was the song for? We've had this sudden turn of songs now. It's song time.
Well, there used to be in the first season, there were a couple places where they'd go to the bar and
there'd be a song playing.
And there'd be a song playing.
But now it's we're gonna sing. What part does my favorite person, Nadine? When does she?
Well,
she wasn't in Coma.
She wasn't in Coma,
which is funny because
she was
in a coma.
She comes out of her coma in this episode. This episode is called "The Man Behind the Glass." I don't know if that's referring to Harold, because sometimes he's behind the glass, or it could be referring to.
It could be referring to Andy.
Andy,
our man behind the glass.
Yeah. So so let's here's what we're gonna do.
Oh, you know who also it could be referring to?
Who?
Anyone with glasses.
Oh, that's true. That's interesting. So before we get into the episode of The Man Behind the Glass, let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business.
To defeat the Huns.
Yes.
No. I want to know. We got your let's go over the three suspects.
The three suspects,
and I want to know how you feel about them and if they have changed, and then we'll go through more. So, suspect. We're gonna go in reverse order this time. We'll go with suspect number 3, which I believe last we met was Andy. So, suspect number 3. How suspicious is he now?
He is more. He grows. The weird thing about Andy is that he's suspicious and then he's not, and then he's more suspicious because he wasn't suspicious there.
Yeah.
So here, wow. You know what? That guy really does look like Andy in that drawing, just with a little bit longer hair.
So it could be a shaggy Andy.
It could be a shaggy Andy. He shaved. Okay. I think that possibly it could be his twin brother. I think Bob, who's in a coma, could be his twin brother.
Okay. So going back to, and that's what you also had mentioned, a twin sibling.
Yeah, twin sibling.
With Nadine. So
Nadine.
Does that kind of work still for this one?
That kind of works still for this one.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Is he still suspect number 3? Has he moved up? Has he moved down?
He's suspect number 2 currently.
He's suspect number 2.
Because here's the thing. Our man's Leland, he's arrested by the end of the 3rd episode.
Yes.
And he's also I know this guy.
Yeah, so he says, "Hey, I've seen this guy." So we're going to suspect number 2.
Yes.
So Leland is suspect number 2.
Wow.
And so tell me what happens in this scene and what you're interpreting now.
Yeah. So in this scene, he's I've seen this guy. I used to know this guy when I was a little kid. Was a tiny little kid. And he used to throw matches at me. Fire, walk with me. Do you want to play with matches, or do you want to play with fire, little boy? I think is what he says. And he's he gives him a look. He gives him a location of where he was.
A house by Pearl Lakes, I think.
Yeah, so he had a house, and there was a one neighbor on the other side, and then there was no neighbor, and then his white house. Bob's White House.
And he gives the last name,
Robert.
Robertson.
Robertson. Yeah. Which is
I think,
Bob.
Yeah.
Right? Because we got Robert. Yep. Robert could be Bob.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So he unveils this stuff, and of course, he has killed.
Oh, and fun fact: the house is on the left side of his original house.
They say the left side.
Yeah, because he says. I had it right. The neighbor to the right was this neighbor, and then there was an empty lot, and then it was the White House.
Nice paying attention.
I love the left hand.
There's a lot of left stuff going on. So Leland, by the end of this episode, the man behind the glass is arrested for the murder of Jacques Renault.
He killed Jacques.
What is your ranking of Leland? Has he gone up? Has he gone down?
He's gone down. Because he was number 2. I honestly consider him suspect number 4.
Okay.
But I don't know who's in 3. That's the weird part.
Okay, so he's dropped down a couple things. So tell us why he's dropped down.
Well, I don't know that it would be... It might be satisfying. That's my thing, is like, okay, what's going to be the most satisfying answer is part of this. Because he's like, it's a story.
Sure. You're trying to do the sort of storytelling aspect of it, of the mystery.
Figure out the story, and I can figure out who did it.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's as satisfying if he's already in jail when they figure out he committed the murder. Because there's got to be that, like, chase. Like, oh, man, we got to get this guy.
So in the same way when they do things like, hey, we found this evidence on Leo Johnson, let's go arrest Leo Johnson.
It's like Leo didn't do it then.
Gotcha.
Like, why would that be the case? Like, in real life, sure, maybe he did it, because that's a little sketchy.
But for the sake of the story, him being arrested is like, okay. So he's dropped down.
Yeah.
All right. So
it's so good.
So Nadine
holds her left hand.
Tell us how she gets out, wakes up from her coma.
So another singing scene happens.
Yes.
Our good old buddy Eddie, he's singing to her, holding her left hand. And she's chained to the bed because she's been like really excited. And Eddie or Ed is singing. What song is he singing?
He sings On Top of Old Smoky.
Yes. And we were singing the
meatball version
song.
On Top of Spaghetti.
On top of spaghetti. That's why I was like, what was it? And then she is like, victory! And she sings a little like cheerleading song. I can't remember how it starts, but it felt a little important. Because she is like celebrating in a way as she wakes up from her coma. Which I thought was interesting. And she thinks she's 18. Which gives her, she is still in the #1 spot because now she has more of a motive.
All right, tell us about her motive.
So I like her as my main suspect because I feel like oh man, nobody knows it's gonna be her. Yeah. Because she's just been like kind of a consistent character. She's like, she wasn't in the episode called Coma, which is funny because she was in a coma. And she just like consistently is strange. Yeah. And like a little odd, and she doesn't have an alibi. And it's just like the timing matches up for the times that she's been gone at night.
And then there's the strength aspect.
And then she's really strong. Yeah. Like she could overpower most people. She's breaking out of stuff.
It was kind of scary when Big Ed
I was like, oh no,
his hair starts to struggle.
Yeah. But she now thinks she's 18, right? So in her mind, she could be back replaying her days in high school where Ed was not dating her. And Laura does look a little bit like the waitress he is in love with and cheating on his wife with. A little, right? A little. Yeah. And so it's interesting to think about, like, maybe there's some parallel there where she thinks she's 18 and she's gaining revenge.
Gotcha. So she might have been seeing herself as 18, seeing Laura thinking that 18, that's an 18-year-old
who's trying to get with her boyfriend. And that would make sense for the
So she sees Laura with James?
Yes.
And so thinks
and
because
oh,
James
man,
is the nephew of Ed, so they probably look
alike. They're a little bit of look-alike.
So that's a pretty solid theory. That's pretty solid theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's also, I think she's capable of committing a serial of murders.
Well, let's talk about this. So this is the reveal at the end of this episode. Yeah. This is the diary of Laura Palmer. Now, we've seen her diary already, so what do you think's going on with this?
It is interesting. Our friend, the florist, I'm going to call him the florist. I know
florist.
He's not a florist. I know there's a better term for it, but I'm going to call him the florist.
Okay.
Because it's fun and it's good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think there's something. I don't even think it's sinister about him. That's the weird thing. I'm not getting a sinister vibe.
So you feel like there's something sincere and not sinister about him.
Like it could be that he's actually a pretty good guy.
Do you think that this is Laura's? Do you think he made this up himself? Do you think he stole it? Do you think he's
himself?
Yeah.
I think that's a possibility. Okay. I also think it's a possibility maybe Laura was his friend and she could have left it with him.
Ah. Yeah. Backing up a little bit to the Coma episode. So this moment here is, I think, one of the most frightening images in Twin Peaks, and really probably one of the most frightening things for TV history for me.
It's so creepy.
It's very creepy.
And poor fake Laura.
poor Maddie.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so creepy.
So why do you think Maddie is seeing this?
I think that it's possible that the person who killed Laura is looking to kill Maddie. I think that honestly, probably every girl in town under the age of 19 is probably at risk of being killed.
And why would Maddie sense that? Like, why would Maddie sense that?
It could be like the fear of being here is caught up. She talks about how it's like being in a dream.
Yeah.
Being here. She talks about that with her uncle at the end, who I think might be her father. It's interesting.
So do you think Maddie might be a sister?
I think Maddie might be a sister.
I'm trying to think if that works.
I don't know.
You know, like a half sister.
No, I'm thinking like. What do you mean?
So
a sister of Laura.
So Sarah, that's Laura's mom.
Yeah.
So Sarah and Leland may have had two kids.
And they were like,
and then they sent one of them away. Yeah. It is interesting. The show is called Twin Peaks, and there's a lot of twin stuff.
Yeah,
in
but
some ways,
no twins.
Or parallel.
Right.
There's parallels that go on.
There's parallel. And I don't know if she's actually going to be a twin. But it just seems like very soap opera, since it's, we're like kind of making fun of soap operas. We're making fun of daytime TV.
So you think there's going to be some kind of
there could be like
twist
whoa, we got rid of
hey,
you.
I'm actually your dad, or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a switched at birth situation kind of thing. Oh, I did want to talk about our friend Andy.
Okay.
Apparently can't have kids. I thought that was interesting.
He's sterile.
Andy is sterile.
He thought that meant he didn't have to take a bath.
Yeah. He's sterile.
And he found out.
I'm glad that he's taken a bath since then.
Yeah, and I don't have a photo, but Richard, or Dick, is the rival of Andy that was apparently dating Lucy.
Yes.
On occasion.
For 3 months.
And they slept together.
Yeah.
In the department store, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then he
cuts ties.
Ghosted her would be in 2000.
And you know what? It's honestly probably fitting to be in Twin Peaks and say that you ghosted
That's
somebody.
True. It's Ghostwood. All right. Well, let's talk about my favorite moments in this pair of episodes.
Oh my gosh. This was fantastic.
This is a great scene where sheriff's being all threatening, and
it's like, I'm gonna punch you again.
And it looks like Albert is going to
also be threatening.
Yeah, fight back. And then this is what he says: "While I will admit to a certain cynicism, the fact is that I am a naysayer and hatchet man in the fight against violence. I pride myself in taking a punch, and I'll gladly take another because I choose to live my life in the company of Gandhian King. My concerns are global. I reject absolutely revenge, aggression, and retaliation. The foundation of such a method is love. I love you, Sheriff Truman.
I loved that sentiment. I also love what Cooper says afterwards. He's like, he walks a difficult path.
Yeah, strange and difficult path.
Because it's so true. He's a government agent. You know, like he's part of the FBI.
Yeah.
And he's like, never gonna be violent.
Okay, before we go, so Ronette Pulaski is waking up in the Coma episode, and more so in the follow-up episode, The Man Behind the Glass. And that is when we learn a couple things. Someone apparently, while she was in the hospital, has put that letter B from the Flesh World magazine, has put it under her fingernail. And also the and then there's like the blue fluid that is in her IV. So what do you think? Well, what's going on with that?
If I am going by my favorite person, Nadine has escaped her handcuffs at that point. We know that when we watch the next episode.
They did say
she escaped. She escaped,
right?
And she did. She was out of her restraints.
Yeah. So she has been in the hospital. So you think that she must have done that? I
think so. I honestly think so.
And do you think, was she awake and mentally aware what she was doing?
I don't think that she's mentally aware most of the time. I like her as a suspect because I also pity her as a suspect. And it's kind of like there's like, what are you going to do? If she's the real killer, it's like, oh.
Gotcha.
Dang.
So her mind is, at least in many ways, has slipped.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Well, that's it for Twin Peaks. First time watching Twin Peaks. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.